before my chat was distracting me. I was speaking something. And if I don't get interrupted, then that helps with me carry the message or carry the point. There's no chat room to this video. The last video I ran, I was not yelling. You are in my diary. You're in my ruminations and confessions. This is where I come for therapy. This is where I come for company. This is also where I come to run professional videos and talk about topics and broadcast. This is where I come. So when you come in my chat room and on my pages and you start judging, scrutinizing, and criticizing me, you're making yourself look really ugly. As soon as I get my computer back, I'm taking away all the wrenches. There's people out there that do not need a wrench at all. Some people will keep their wrenches. But there's people out there that I barely know who have a wrench and they don't need one. The only reason why people had wrenches was because I was inundated with trolls and AI bots that flooded my chat room. And during that one broadcast, I wanted to pick out my friends' comments so I could engage with them. This broadcast, it's shut down. So this way, I'm not rudely interrupted and told and gaslit to come in my chat room and go, oh, Holly, you're yelling. No, I'm not. I'm talking about a topic that I feel passionately about in my diary, and that's where you are. So when you go to feel passionate and speak about something, I'm going to show up in your chat room and gaslight you just the same way you did me. Don't take what I do out of context to suit your own personal needs. I don't like it. And if you don't recognize the teaching of the Ruach Kodesh, that's not my problem. That's yours that you need to fix and work out. Now, yesterday I ran a video on internet radio and I had a Holly moment. I did not plug in the headphones, so there was 41 minutes of silence. So right now I'm recalling some of that video, but also right when I wake up in the mornings or after a nap, Abba gives me dreams and visions. I just spent 6 hours with him in my dreams. And now this morning, I can come forward and give you a prophet's reward. But I can't do that if somebody in my chat room is gaslighting me or doesn't even recognize the Ruach. I'm hated in my own hometown, in my own chat room. I'm disrespected. May you be treated with the same measure you give other people. You're in my diary. You're speaking to an ex-super soldier. Excuse you. Yahuwah has reformed and redeemed me through the blood of the Lamb. I can give you prophet's rewards. I have the gift of prophecy. What is the gift of prophecy? That's when you see Yahusha return in your dreams and visions. That's all it is. I've seen his physical return when he's on a cloud coming down to earth to put his physical foot on the earth. I've seen it 2 times in my dream. Do you know what you do when Abba tells you something twice? Nothing. There's no amount of prayer and fasting you can do to change what he told you twice. And my ultimate prayer for me is to see his return. So in knowing this, in seeing my lifestyle, and in knowing that my goal is to make it to the end of the 7-year tribulation, I might have something to offer all of you. Because I don't hear anybody else trying to make it to the end. I hear everybody praying for an escape route. And that hurts me because I know Abba's up there sobbing. It's not sobbing. He's up there crying. It's in his will that nobody perish. But what voice is everybody listening to? Not Yahusha's. They're listening to imposters called Source. They're listening to imposters called Jehovah. They listen to imposters called Jesus that has legions. They listen to imposters. They listen to all the false messages, false doctrine, false prophecy. They listen to NASA tell them about the earth, but meanwhile, Yahuwah already told them about the earth in the Bible, but they don't want to read and listen to the Bible themselves to know it for themselves. No, you don't get to make up heaven. When you die, you don't, you ever hear there's people say, I think even Robin Williams had a movie out. When people die, they're like, oh, well, you create your own heaven and you go to a place where you're happy and it's your heaven. No, you don't. Abba even says where we go when we die. If we're resurrected to everlasting life, then we live with him in the new Jerusalem forever and ever. Jerusalem is what Yahuwah calls heaven. He doesn't call heaven heaven. The new Jerusalem is not the church. It's not these online ministries. The church is fallen and all of us are called out of her if we're his people. If you're still wound up in your church and churchianity, well, you're listening to the wrong voice. If you're listening to a voice tell you, oh, you can celebrate whatever you want. You can celebrate Christmas like the Luciferian Saints and Freemasons and still go to heaven. Oh, you can call Abba whatever you want. Oh, he knows your heart. That's a spirit of rebellion. You are not submitting yourself to Yahuwah. You're doing what you want. He has ways, he has commandments, he has laws and ordinances. He came to earth and was born and lived a certain way so that you and I would live that same way. He's the truth. Anything that you take outside of him is a lie. Your rapture, lie. There is no rapture. There's no pre-trib rapture. There's no post-trib rapture. There's no mid-trib rapture. And as far as the gathering, when Yahushua sends out his angels to gather the 144,000, again, it's not a rapture. His angels are going to come out, grab the 144,000 and bring them over to Yahushua. Where will Yahushua be? In the Garden of Eden, standing with the people that he just finished resurrecting who got their heads chopped off instead of taking the mark of the beast. Yes, it matters who you listen to, what you're living for, what you're believing in, what you put your time, mind, and energy into. And if it's into these if it's in one of these false doctrines, you're not going to be resurrected to everlasting life with him. Everybody has good intentions. Everybody's a good person by their own standards. What Abba considers good is not the same as you or me. And I can tell you right now, my definition of love is a lot different than yours. So no, this world does not need love. This world needs Yahushua. Yahushua is an Alua of everything. Oh, my JESUS is a God of love. Yeah, I bind and cast away your JESUS and your love. I bind and cast you away. Get you out of here. Get that crap out of here. The world needs Yahushua. There's a lack of his name being spoken in the world because the world doesn't care doesn't bother to get to know it. They call him Emmanuel and Joshua and this and that. You guys don't humble yourself to him. Do you? Really? I hear a lot of people talk, and they want to debate. They run to and fro, trying to hear the best possible idea that other backslidden people are parroting. And then they adopt that idea because they think it's clever, and then they try to make it their own. And meanwhile, they've got no backbone. They've got no meat. All they have is a delusion. All they have is fluffy sounding words. And when shit hits the fan, their ideologies and their doctrine is not going to save them. You need to know your shepherd's voice now. Oh, Holly, nobody could really know the name of Abba. Yeah, you can. All you have to do is ask him. He's living. Ask him. What's your name? Go before him humbly in prayer and fasting. Ask him his name. There's no carpeting in here. My voice echoes. And I tend to be a loud talker as it is. He's up there crying because people are perishing. They let their pride, arrogance, and ego get in the way all of the time. I've seen it this morning. I've seen out of 2 people demons manifest. For the rest of the day, I'm not opening up Facebook Messenger and I'm not opening up my chat because you guys got to get yourselves in check. That's not my job. That's for you. And obviously, I must be preaching truth for your demons to be manifesting. And who's you? The people out there. That's who. You're doing something wrong if you're not relying on him. If you're not asking him, what's your name? What holidays do I celebrate? When is your birthday? April. I used to think it was September. For all I know, it still could be. The one thing I'm certain of is his birthday, death, resurrection, and ascension to heaven all happened on a feast and festival that he's ordained and he has for. The Feast of Unleavened Bread and First Fruits with the Passover meal, Feast of Weeks, which is coming up soon. Don't forget to rewind the Passover meal. The second one is April 12th. So if you screwed up or something happened, you have a chance to redo it because that Passover meal is so important. He gives us a second time to partake in it. He's got the Feast of Tabernacles and the Feast of Trumpets. So his whole life, all of his major milestones are in those feasts and festivals. But there is everybody else celebrating Christmas and Easter and Thanksgiving and Halloween. You don't know your creator if you're doing that. You know why? Because in his feasts and festivals, we study the Torah. We study the 5 books of the Torah. For each feast and festival, we're celebrating something that he did for us because he's going to do it again in the future. We study our Bible, New and Old Testaments, during his feasts and festivals. The only way to have a line of communication with Yahuwah is to read and listen to the Bible. Yeah, that's my fault. I feel way too passionately about Yahusha. Where are the other people that feel passionately about him too? Where are they at? Because I want to go meet them. Who knows? Maybe I'll bump into one of the 144,000. Find me the passionate people. Find me the people that want to do the work. Out of everybody that I told about Constantine's creed, only 2 people said, thank you, Holly. I almost made a big mistake. Boy, I was misled. Now I see another maneuver that Satan has done to destroy Yahuwah's people and rip them apart. Fallen angels, now called ancient astronaut alien ancestors. Those things are what gave us the different religions. Those things are what gave us the denominations. I believe, I know the Bible is true, black and white for what it says. Yahuwah says exactly what he means. He may use metaphors, but the Bible itself is not a metaphor. Like, you know what? Everybody wants Heavenly Abba to speak strong, but they don't want him to back it up. Oh, Holly, when he says chop your hands off, he doesn't really need it. See, he needs me to interpret it for you. No, Abba said exactly what he meant. And he's an alua of action. Alua means G-O-D in Hebrew. I'm still deciding. Well, I think saying God is okay because it's only a title and I'm not summoning any fallen entities. But the word H-O-L-Y, I'm not saying that word because it'll summon an entity named H-O-L-I-K-A. So I'll choose the word hallowed. I asked Yahuwah for wisdom and he told me to watch my words. Because words in English, we have spelling. In Hebrew, when you speak a word, you're speaking the actual word. There's no subliminal message. There's no underlying different meaning to the word. The word in Hebrew means what it means. Like B-L-E-S-S or B-L-E-S-S-I-N-G. I won't say that because if you look up what the word really means. It means to sprinkle blood on, to like kill and sprinkle blood on. I don't want no blood sprinkled on me. I'm already covered under the blood of the Lamb. So instead, I say Barak or Baruch. Now, getting to our ex-president, Barry, Obama. Why did they change his name to Barack Obama? Because every time you said that ex-president's name, you were baracking a fallen entity. You were not baracking Yahusha. You were baracking the very entity that is demonically possessing Barry Sorderina, whatever his name is. Barry, who's married to Michael, our ex-president. There's a lot of meaning in a name, and the majority of believers don't even care to know their creator's name. They don't bother to ask, hi, how are you? My name is Holly. What's yours? What do you like? Actually, he's over here. What do you like? What are your hobbies? Well, I have a couple hobbies, and will you come with me to do them? I want to spend that time with you. I want to talk to you. I want to pray for others. I want to worship you. Teach me how to pray, and just teach me, Abba, I want a calling. What is a calling, and can I have one? You ask him for a calling, and you're sincere, he'll give it to you. It's just you need to act on it. Do you know how many people Yahuwah has come along and given the gift of prophecy to, and they're like, oh yeah, it's a rapture. I'm going to put my churchanity on the dream that God gave me and twist it and rip it apart. Yank it and jerk it in all sorts of ways. And meanwhile, Yahusha has his hand in his face going, no, no, no. I did not show you a rapture. I showed you my return. I showed you resurrections. I didn't show you a rapture. I'm showing you resurrections. It's not a rapture. You're putting your own education and your own understanding on it. You're putting whatever the church taught you on it. I'm showing you a resurrection. I've seen that happen a ton of times. I've seen people ask him for a calling and then go, oh yeah, da 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 da, and wander off and never even fill the calling. I've seen you who tap people's shoulders and then them go, oh yeah, you know what? I'm just going to finger my own third eye. I'm going to, mangle that thing. I'm going to open it up and I'm going to use that. I'm not going to go to Yahushua and get to know him. No, I'm going to start screwing around with my third eye. And they put their back to him to go screw around with their third eye. I'm just going to say it. And as I said, I bind and cast it and its legions down. They go and screw around with the Kundalini spirit. I bind and cast away the Kundalini, its legions, its friends, and its friends' legions. Get them away from me and my household and my relationship with Yahushua. I come from the dumps, deep underground military bases. The enemy created me and raised me. I'm here to expose the enemy to you and others. But it seems like some people just want to fight me on it. And meanwhile, they don't know anything. They've lived a typical average life. They only realized only a couple of years ago where their tax dollars are going. They've only heard of child trafficking a couple of years ago, but they're not taking it seriously. I gave Trump my testimony during his first presidency. George Bush Sr., George Bush Jr., Barry Obama, Hillary Clinton, Joe and Hunter Biden, they all abused me. Me. I'm not talking about other kids. I'm talking about me and what was done to me by those people. The music industry, Hollywood, every time you pay your tax dollars, it goes to child trafficking. Our government and our military are the biggest child traffickers this world has ever seen. And as a super soldier, I served USA, UK, and Canada's governments and militaries. What you don't know about black operations is what I've been exposing to you. The child trafficking, adrenochrome, human hunting parties, satanic rituals and sacrifices. These people above us do these satanic sacrifices, and then you guys go out and celebrate the same holidays they celebrate, such as Christmas. That's not being a child of God. That's being a child of you. Oh, well, our families get together, so it's good. Yeah, but you never get together for God. You never take the day off of work to get together with your family for Abba. Oh, well, we don't have work off, but we all have it off at Christmas time. Okay, worldly person. I was living like these backslidden Christians like Paul Baglio and L.A. Marzulli and Coach and all of their congregants. And when I died March 2007, I went to hell. Christians are backslidden. Christians do go to hell. To be a Christian, you renounce Yahushua Mashiach to be one. Oh, just because Holly said it doesn't mean anything. No, now you know. And you're not acting on it. You're staying a Christian and you know the truth. You're supposed to test the spirits and take everything back to Yahuwah. But you're not doing that. You like the comfortability and the warmth of your muck and mire? Not me. You can stay there. The majority of so-called believers, they do not walk their talk. They do not know their creator. They're done up on a bunch of false doctrine. Oh, Holly, I don't have to have everything right. If you had Yahusha, you would have everything right, and you would have the truth in all areas. If you went to him directly to get to know him for yourself, you would know him, and that's how you would know. Go spend time with them. So far, I've been with him since December 2011. I got out of the dumps the beginning of December 2011 when 3 super soldiers came back for me to get me out. Before the end of December 2011, I was seeking him directly. I didn't know my knee from my elbow at that time, but I went to him directly and he guided me. Directly, solely and securely, he guided me. He told me what to do. He told me what a calling was. He gave me one, and now I'm fulfilling it. What, you think you're going to wake up one morning and, oh, here's a calling, la-da-da. Oh, I got the gift of prophecy, la-da-da. No, it doesn't work like that. You got to live for him. You got to be in his ways. Now, the demons, they'll give you psychic abilities. They'll give it to you like that. They'll give you your instant gratification. That won't hold up when shite hits the fan or when you're standing in front of Yahushua on Judgment Day. I cleaned out a little bit more of my room. I'm so happy. It looks good. It looks good. But I can't do too much work because I'm down. My right hand and my right arm has started to feel good, but I'm not going to be doing any scrubbing. But I got a couple things up in the attic, and I got a couple boxes unpacked. I still got more though, but my room has opened up more. There's no longer a path. The room has opened up a little bit more. What's the worst thing I'm doing? Trying to pull you closer to Yahuwah, returning you back to Yahuwah, begging you to get to know him for yourself, get to know who he is, what he's like. Why do I talk so loud? Because I'm animated when I talk. I feel passion. Because I care. Because I care. Sometimes it doesn't seem like anybody else does. And they should. I mean, they're pitted straight to hell. Well, I can do whatever I want and go to heaven. No, do what thou will applies to Satan, not Yahushua. These imposters. When I asked, my specialty is spiritual warfare, demonic attacks, anything. Aliens, dogmen, Bigfoot, nightmares, portals, anything with the kingdom of darkness. I'm going to make the kingdom of darkness know my name and go running away in terror because Yahusha is my golden bow. Instead of them frightening me, making me run away. Like when I was a little kid, I remember hiding under my covers and only leaving a hole to breathe out so I didn't have to see them or feel them. I know what it's like. So my speciality is demonic attacks, getting rid of those things. But when I asked Yahuwah for wisdom, he basically told me Psalms 119, go learn Hebrew. That's what I spoke. Hebrew, ancient Hebrew. No E's, no J's, and no V's. There were W's and A's. He didn't speak modern Yiddish. Modern Jewish is Yiddish. He spoke ancient Hebrew. Get to know him. When you go to him directly, you'd be surprised what he's got to say. But you're not going to know what he has to say unless you go to him. You go to church, you're only getting to know what that church has to say and what the congregants in the pews next to you say. And meanwhile, we're called out of the church. So what are you doing? Now, if you want to go be around like-minded people, that's fine. But you got to be careful what you come into an agreement with and who you're holding hands with to pray. Demons jump as easy as that, just through a simple handshake, just through a simple hug, just the tip, let alone the whole thing. That's all it takes. Demons can look at you, and if you're in a bad mood, they can jump on you. Christians do go to hell because they're not living in his ways. They're living like Satanists, Luciferians, and Freemasons. They don't keep the Saturday Sabbath. They do not keep all 10 commandments, and they don't keep his feasts and festivals. It's about getting to know him. I can't tell you how many times I got screwed up with theologians and scholars. I can't tell you how many times I got screwed up with Jewish tradition. Oh, and then churchianity. And guys, none of that is the way. I implore you, get down on your knee and go to him. How do you know? You know by spending time with him, testing the spirits, and getting confirmations back. But you got to do that work yourself and spend time with him. Spend 40 days of prayer and fasting with just him. Get to know his countenance and how he feels and what it's like to be with him. When you fast, you're in his presence. I don't feel bad for anybody that's fasting to be with him because they get to be in his presence and talk directly with him, two-way dialogue. I ain't feeling bad for any of you fasting. I would fast the rest of my life if I could, but I bumped into this last year, but I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want the girl thinking I was talking about her. But I'm bumping into similar situations and similar comments. And I'm not talking about you, the people who are saying it to me. I'm giving you an answer because some people that pose that question to me, when I'm there on the phone or when I'm there face to face, they don't let me answer. They just want to talk at me. And okay, that's fine. But you got to let me interject. I mean, you're coming to me with Abba and I'm ordained to him. Let me speak in return, because the first thing I'm going to say to him is, Abba, what do you want me to say? And is there like something you want this person to know? And if you got spiritual gifts already, it's like, oh, you got spiritual gifts. All right, you don't need me. You're fine. Or maybe just by me saying that alone and recognizing that they're baruched and gifted by Yahuwah would be enough of a confirmation for them to know, yeah, they're still on the right track. By me being at this safe house, I'm still on the right track. I put up my pictures for you. The last dream for my personal life to come true is happening right now. The only thing left to come true out of the dreams that Abba gave to me are Bible prophecy that you read in Revelation. And I would like to say this, the current 7-year Shemitah ends on the Gregorian calendar of September 2027. Yahuwah's favorite number seems to be 7. For me, it's 11, because Yahuwah takes my chaos away. He takes away the super soldiery. He takes away all my pain and he gives me something new. The church can't do that. Coach and Paul and all them, they can't do that. Yahusha can. What, you think you're going to go to God and he's not going to answer you? He tells us point blank. Everybody who seeks him, he's going to open the door. He's going to answer. But you have to seek him. Open up the book for yourself and read and listen to it. That's how you start building a relationship, is because you see Yahusha in action. It's a major line of communication. How do you know? You know by having a relationship with him, by spending time with him, getting to know him, how he works, the way he is, what he has to say. I go to him about every situation, every phone call, every text message, everything, every fly that comes across. I got to do dishes. Abba, come with me. I want to talk to you while I'm doing the dishes. I want to worship you. Abba, I got to drive to go pick up gas for the lawnmower. Come with me. Go before me, during, and after me. And then I spend that time with him. Oh, Holly, nobody could know for certain. Bull crap. What about Noah? He knew for certain. So don't you tell me that we cannot know for certain his plan for our life, because that's malarkey. Somebody who doesn't know their creator would say something like that. Oh, nobody could know. Oh, how do you know? How do you not know? How do you not know? You're his creation and you don't bother to get to know him? Who, what, when, where, and why, according to him? You're not seeking a lamb? Well, that's why you don't know. You're going to church, spending all your time in church, spending all your time with those people and their opinions and their lifestyles, but you're not reading the book and the 22 Apocrypha books. You're not reading the Bible and the 22 Apocrypha books to get to know him and his ways and have communication with him. Well, that's why you don't know. That's why you have confusion. See, I did all of that. Back in 2014, when I gave him my covenant, starting in 2014 until 2016, I did 15 to 17 rounds of 40 days of prayer and fasting. Oh, I spent time with just him and me. When did you guys do that? Because I can tell if you have or not. I have spirit eyes. I can tell if you're spending more time at church and more time with your friends than you are in that book. And then the other problem is when you guys start twisting that book, I can see it too. You have to rely on him. But every time you grow closer to him, you're going to fall under demonic attack, because the demons are going to try to stop that. They're going to try to throw a wrench in the works. They're going to try to stop that process of you and him growing together. You want him to dwell in your flesh temple. Well, you got to know who and what he is. I mean, aren't you curious? He sang a specific love song just to create you. You got somebody sitting next to you. Okay, he sang a different specific love song to create that person. You got an animal next to you, a chicken, snake, a cat, dog. Yahuwah sang a love song. A special, unique, personalized love song to create that creature. You need to go to him. People aren't looking at the 22 books. Go. You want something to inspire you, to draw you closer to Abba, to give you better understanding? Listen or read the book of Melchizedek. Do you want to see how Satan weasels his way in to screw everything up? Listen to the book of Adam and Eve. You want to know how much I love him? I love him just as much as Adam and Eve. Go read the book of Adam and Eve in the Apocrypha. Go ask him when you're reading the book, ask him, show me, give me detail. Please give me the background. Show me, Abba. Have it play out in my head like a movie as I listen to the audio Bible. Get a version that you can understand and go with it. You got to learn these stories in the Bible for yourself. So that way, when these pulpits or churches and online ministries or God knows who else comes along and twists it, you know the story for yourself. And he says exactly what he means, which brings me back to when he says chop your hand off, he means it. He tells you in the Bible, listen, if you're a thief, remove yourself from the situation. Because thieves don't inherit the kingdom of heaven. It doesn't matter if you're saved and baptized. If you're a thief, that's it. Your salvation does not allow you to be a thief. Oh, but Holly, I can just steal stuff, go back and say I'm sorry. And so long as I say I'm sorry, it's okay. He point blank says if you're a thief, liar, swindler, a drunkard, or drug addict, you're not inheriting heaven. It doesn't matter if you're saved and you think he's real or you know he's real. It doesn't matter. Look at how you're living. That's why he says, I am the life. I am the way. I am the truth. So he says, listen, if you're a thief, remove yourself from the situation. Because if you don't, you're not going to get in heaven. That's it. I don't care how much you say you love me. I don't care how much you say you have the same lifestyle as me, and you probably do. If you're a thief, you're not getting into heaven. It's as simple as that. Stop doing it. Well, if you're not going to if you're not going to remove yourself from the situation, and you're going to keep putting yourself around things that you're going to be tempted to steal. So if you lack the common sense to stop stealing and remove yourself from a situation where you're tempted, and you insist upon going into that situation, then it would be better for you to chop your hands off. Because that way, when you're in the situation, you won't have any hands to steal. But at least you'll get into the kingdom of heaven because you won't be a thief. You need to take away whatever it is that causes you sin. You need to do it by all means necessary. Eradicate the sin. Eradicate the darkness. Eradicate the false doctrine, the false message, the false prophecy. You have to get rid of it. By all means necessary. And if you're that bad where you are not going to stop stealing, well then yeah, chop off your hands. Everybody wants their Alua to talk strong, but when it comes time, they don't want them to back it up. Oh, well, yeah, but you're not going to do that to me though, because everybody uses their salvation to get out of jail free card. As a get out of jail free card. And it's disgusting. You think your faith gets you out of hell for free, but you're living like a Freemason celebrating Christmas, Easter, New Year's, Thanksgiving, Halloween. You're living like a Satanist. There's no difference between you and them. I mean, look at your lifestyles. It's the same. You celebrate the same things. You drive the same kind of cars, wear the same kind of clothes, eat the same kind of food, do the same kind of things at the same kind of times. I'm not with you. Your faith does not allow you to be worldly. Your salvation does not allow you to keep sinning and get away with it. I know some guy that came to me to get baptized because he thought, oh, well, if I just get a baptism, I'm going to heaven. And then I can keep my lips wrapped around a glass stick smoking crack. And I can keep drawing Bugs Bunny being crucified because I'm baptized. I'm just going to keep going. I'm just going to go to heaven. I can sleep with whatever girl I want. I'm going to go to heaven because I'm baptized now. That's not the way it works. And would you want a God that works like that? Talks all strong and tough, but doesn't back it up? Not me. I had that when I was demonically possessed with Osiris. So, how do you know? You go spend time with Yahuwah. You ask him what his name is. You ask him, how may I serve you? How are you? Who are you talking to? What you doing? Abba, please be my rabbi. Abba, teach me. Abba, I want these spiritual gifts. Abba, I want to walk in your ways. Abba, I'm up for a challenge. I know I'm going to be hated for your name's sake, but I'm going to walk in your ways, and I'm going to turn my life around. Guys, it took me years, but I am walking my talk. I am walking my talk. I wish I started doing it sooner. I wish I started it in 2016 and 2017 so I wasn't stupid to take that dude back for him later to collapse my lung. As far as the rape, that wasn't my fault. And that wannabe famous musician dude, he's going to have a heavy price to pay. He's going to have a really heavy price to pay on Judgment Day. He stole something from a child of Yahuwah. Yes, you can know. And how do you know? When you go to Abba, you've spent time with him, you're relying on him, you have two-way dialogue with him, you're living in his ways, you're obeying all 10 commandments. The first 4 commandments tell you how to love Yahuwah. The last 6 commandments tell you how to love your neighbor. The Bible tells us how to do everything. Everything is in that Bible. And the reason why that Bible doesn't come right out and say reincarnation's not real, not true, is because by Yahusha's simple resurrection, he proves there's no reincarnation. If reincarnation were real, then when Yahusha came back, he would have been an elephant or a fly or somebody else. When Yahusha resurrected 3 days after his death, he came back a man and exactly as himself. I'm 50 years old. I feel like I've had past lives. I lived a double life, one in deep underground military bases serving on black operations, and the other life on the surface of the earth. And now here I am, a servant of Yahuwah. Well, right there, that's 3 lives, just in my one lifetime. But that doesn't mean I was 3 different people and on earth 3 different times. We have cycles in our lives. When kids are born and they have dreams and visions, that's how generational curses manifest. When kids are born and young kids start going, oh yeah, I used to be Cleopatra. Take me over to Egypt. I can point my bedroom to you. Oh yeah. And then you bring the kid over to Egypt and they're walking around the pyramids and they're pointing, yeah, that room was that. And over here, yeah, this was my room. All that is a demon telling that kid what to say. That's all it is. I'll give you another situation. You have a kid that's born and they have a birthmark on their hip. Demon, because people don't raise their kids up in Yahusha, the kids are not covered under the blood of the Lamb. So what happens? Demons start yipping in the kid's ear. Well, the kid starts listening to it. See, you as parents, even though you don't believe in Yahusha, it's your responsibility to still raise your kids up in him, because it's him who gave you those kids in the first place. But you never taught your kid the right way. You never brought up Yahusha. You never told your kid he's the truth, the way, the life. He died for you, resurrected, ascended to heaven, and he's returning for you. You never did that. You might want to do that. Doesn't matter what age your kids are. You need to do that. But anyway, so say you just have a kid, it's 3, 4, or we'll say 6, 7 years old, and the kid's talking, and the kid is like, oh yeah, Mom, I was in a war. My name was Frankfurter, and I was in the Civil War, and I got hit with the bayonet and then shot. Then the parents, what do? Instead of going to Yahusha, instead they start entertaining the demon. They don't test spirits or anything like that. No, they entertain the demon that's whispering in their kid's ear. And then they go to the library and they go around and they investigate and they find out, yeah, in the Civil War, there was this guy named Frankfurter. And wouldn't you know, he got stabbed in the hip with a bayonet, left a mark, but then he got shot in the head and died. My kid's really Frankfurter reincarnated. We've got another penis, phallus, something. We've got another dickhead. Yes. Right? The parents don't raise their kid up in Yahusha. They don't test the spirits. They don't get confirmations back. They listen to any Tom, Dick, and Harry tell them about spiritual warfare instead of reading and listening to the Bible for themselves. Instead of going to Yahuwah with prayer and fasting and saying, Yahuwah, be my rabbi. Lead me to stories in the book to help me. Lead me to somebody that can help me with my question. Abba, lead me to a video that has the answer. Abba, directly tell me. Or Abba, let's go on an adventure so I can learn the answer, and then I'll never forget it because we went on an adventure. And may we have fun in the process. Sometimes he'll tell you outright, or sometimes you got to find out for yourself. You're going to have to do the legwork and find out. But there's that kid saying that they're Frankfurter from the Civil War. They got hit in the hip, stabbed in the hip with a bayonet, then shot in the head, and they died. Parents go and find out there was really a guy Frankfurter. And instead of putting the kid through a freedom deliverance, what do? They call on Maury Povich and Dr. Phil and Oprah and go, ooh, I got a good story. My kid's reincarnated. Give me money. Give me fame. I don't care if it's 15 minutes. That kid is not a reincarnated Frankfurter. That kid is listening to a demon give it information. And the parents are too dumb. They're uneducated. They're uneducated. And they don't do any spiritual warfare. They don't get rid of the demonic attack. They don't pray with fasting to help their kid and to get rid of this demon. Yeah, it's something worth getting upset about. I think it's worth feeling passionate about. I think it's worth caring about, even if you guys don't. Even if you're twisted up with Satan. I told Yahuwah, put me at the gates of hell, stand me at the gates of hell. I'm going to open up my arms and fingertips as wide as I can get them. And I'm going to stop every person from passing through those gates of hell that I can possibly stop. And there are scores and scores and scores of people going to hell. What was that guy's name? Pittman? Pittman, Pittman. He was a minister. Back in the 70s, he died. And in the couple of minutes that he was dead, Yahuwah told him 2,000 people have died. They all said they were believers, but only 50 of them returned to Yahusha. The other 1,500 people, they returned to Satan because that's all they did was live in Satan's ways when they were on the earth. I tell you, December 2014, the very first, I remember I drew Abba a picture. I still have it. It wasn't much of anything, but I said his name, YHWH, behold the hand, behold the nail. I am that I am. And I drew him a picture. There I was, 40 years old, and the first thing that I had ever done for Abba was draw him a picture, and I was 40 years old. And that picture at that time, December 2014, was the only damn thing that I had done for Abba in all of my life at that point back in 2014. So I want to ask you, what have you done for Abba? What gestures have you given him? Have you made him a card? Have you drawn him a picture? Have you made him a gift? Have you done something for him? Guaranteed you haven't. But after this, you will. And that's why I'm telling you, so I can give you ideas. And then you can take it and say, well, I got my own personality, my own style, my own ways. It's different than Holly, but I'm going to go make you this. I'm going to go build you a garden. Or you know what? I'm going to go help my elderly neighbor. I'm going to go down the road. My neighbor's a vet. I'm going to go help them for the whole day. I'll do their yard work for the whole day. So I'm going to go do that with you. Make him something. Make him a gift. Go serve him. Go help somebody that needs help. Go to that elderly person. Go to that veteran. Go to that child who's being abused. Help them in some way. What you do for the least of me, you've done for me. How does that saying go? So that's my spiel. I think it's a darn good spiel. And yes, I'm going to find an attorney, and anybody else that's stolen my copyrights will be sued too. How dare you steal the work I did with Yahuwah? May his judgment, wrath, and anger be upon you in Yahushua Shem, Selah. Because as far as Bridge and that other ministry, if they were actually children of Yahuwah, they would not have stolen my copyrights, painted me in a bad light, ignored that Yahuwah has fully cured and healed me, and the altars are gone. That's atrocious. And it's wrong. So on that note, I have forewarned you guys, you're called out of the church. And you see what this big online ministry did? These people making $92,000 a year to be a psychologist at a ministry that calls Holly Baglio a drug addict whore and does not lead you guys back to the Bible, but runs courses and charges $1,700 a head per person to trash Holly Baglio. I've got a recording of it. And who gave it? I can't even remember the person who gave me the recording, but just give me that attorney. And I'll be talking to you guys really, really soon. I'm so glad I'm here in this safe house because now I can focus on the work I have with Yahuwah. And for the rest of you out there, all you need is Yahuwah. You need to be needy for him, not needy for these ministries. You need to be running to him, not to find out what your friend says or this video or that channel or this minister or that evangelist. Oh, Holly, did you hear so-and-so's prophecy? No, I didn't bother because Yahuwah gave me the gift of prophecy. And all you're doing is listening to a false prophet. You don't have discernment. You're not even testing the spirits. I can see the spirit realm playing out above everybody's head. And I've noticed a lot of people steal my words, but that's my gift. I can see the spirit realm playing out above everybody's head. And the majority of people, it's all dark. They yip, talk, yap, talk. But they don't walk it. They don't live it. They don't put the Bible and 22 books of the Apocrypha into practice. They don't do any of it. They just talk and then run to the next evangelist and pastor. When are they going to start running to Yahuwah? And as far as you rapturists out there, your God must hate you. Well, actually, your God hates you. Your Jesus and your Jehovah, they hate you. First of all, they told you about a rapture, which is not true. Secondly, you're still here. They left you behind. Not my Yahusha. My Yahusha told me that the rapture is false doctrine and there is no rapture. There's no pre, mid, or post-trib rapture. And as far as that 144,000, that's a gathering. I know because he showed me in my dreams. Secondly, he told us in the book, it's a gathering. He's going to send out his angels to gather the 144,000 people still left on the earth to bring them over to where he has set up his kingdom, which is going to be the Garden of Eden. And that's why the Arctic Circle, Rupas Nigris, is taking off all your maps, including your ball, the globe. The Arctic Circle is gone. They want you to think all water's there. No. The Garden of Eden sits on top of Rupas Nigris. It's 33 miles wide. Rupas Nigris is the tallest mountain in the entire world. Wind currents go around the mountain. Why does your compass point north? Because Rupas Nigris is a magnetic rock And that's why our compasses point north. On the top of it is where the Garden of Eden is. And from Rupus Nigris flows a river. That river drops down and pools around the bottom of Rupus Nigris, and then it breaks off into 4 rivers. There's 4 big land masses that surround Rupus Nigris. Those 4 rivers branching off from the one that flows down Black Rock, Rupus Nigris. That one river branching off into 4 feeds the entire world, their water source. The Garden of Eden is in the Arctic Circle. The 4 land masses surrounding Rupus Nigris, which translates to Black Rock, that's known as the Paradise of Eden. Because I went before Abba with prayer and fasting. The book of Melchizedek really inspired me. And if you want, just go read the book of Melchizedek. And then test the spirits. Go to Abba. Ask him. Ask him. He'll tell you. It's no big secret. The problem is people don't want to listen. I just saw a video yesterday where some guy was trying to guess that the Garden of Eden is over by a broken river, Euphrates, or over in Asia or over in Africa. No, it's not. Atlantis, that's over on the continent of Africa. Atlantis was that big eye in the desert. Forget what it's called. Starts with an S or something like that. That's Atlantis. But the Garden of Eden sits on top of Rupus Nigris. That's why they took it off your maps. There's a cherub angel up there that guards the path up to the top of that mountain where the Garden of Eden sits. They took that away from us. I personally want to meet the angel. I would like to travel up north because I would like to talk to the angel. I would like to see what the angel has to say to me. I probably asked that cherub, how can I love my Yahusha better? Give me some ideas of just how I can love him better. I know, follow all 10 commandments, celebrate his feasts and festivals, keep the Saturday Sabbath. But cherub, what else? Cherub, next time you see him, will you tell him I love him so much and he's my golden bow and I am his arrow? His. Just make sure you tell Yahusha how much I love him. And I want to live for him, and I do want to live in his ways. I'm sorry, screw up all the time. I don't want to. But they took that away from you and I. Why? Because if they wipe up off the Arctic Circle, Rupus Nigris and the Paradise of Eden, which would be the 4 land masses surrounding Rupus Nigris, if they take that away from us, then it makes the Bible look like a fairy tale. It makes the Bible look like a metaphor. That's why they've changed the names to all of these places. America was ancient Egypt before Noah's flood. Noah's flood was built out of wood that's only found in the Florida region of the United States of America. It's not found anywhere else in the world. What do you know, Holly? Well, honestly, a lot of time with Yahuwah, a lot of studying, a lot of back and forth with him. But I needed that back and forth. I needed that time because that way I could see how he works. I can hear and see how his voice stands out among the sea of other voices, among the sea of other imposters. If you want to be good at spiritual warfare, ask Yahuwah who the imposters are. Abba. Everybody's a false teacher, false prophet, and now we have false saviors. Who are they? He'll tell you. He'll show you. If you go to him, he is not going to refrain from you. He is not going to withhold from you. There was one time, you could take this any way you want, but I'm going to tell you a story. So this one time in Hollyland, back in 2000, 17, and 18. I kept saying, Yahuwah, I want the gift of healing hands. I want to be able to go up, lay hands on people, and in your name, through you and your blood of the Lamb, you could use me as your vessel and work through me and cure and heal somebody, and they could get up from their wheelchair and start walking again. Can I have that gift? Abba kept saying, you got it. Okay, can I have it now? You got it. All right, but will you give it to me now? You got it. What do you mean I got it? No, I don't. Oh, I had been a part of prayer chains, and these prayer chains, up to that point, I had been a part of. I had seen people literally get up from the hospital bed and walk out of the hospital with a clean bill of health. So I had seen prayer chains. I had seen full curing and healings before. So I was going to Abba and saying, I want to do more of this. I want to really be a part of it. Like if somebody came to me and wanted curing and healing, I'll grab my pair, come back to that person, be like, we're ready. Let's cure and heal you through the blood of the Lamb. Let's see what Abba has to say. Let's see what is in his will. And we can at very least get rid of your pain, calm down your stomach, and take away the headache. In Yahusha's name, only in his name. And it's him that does all the work. It's only through his blood that any of this is possible. It's not me or you or any one of us doing the healing or curing. He works through us. Right? So like, say this plug is Yahuwah and say this cell phone's you. All I am is this little cord. I'm just linking you two up. That's it. But see, it's him that's giving you the cell phone energy. I've got nothing to do with that. But I'm just giving you a hand and linking you up with him. I'm just trying to hold ground with you and be there with you and give you a bridge, give you a link, give you a leg up to Yahuwah. And pretty soon you ain't gonna, well, now once you got him, you don't need me. He's taking over, right? You don't need me at all. You're getting your energy directly from them. But sometimes we all get a little stuck and we kind of need help. So I plugged you in. But now you don't need me. You got Yahuwah, so. But anyway, getting back to that gift of prophecy in 2017 and 18, Yahuwah kept saying, you have it. You have it. What needed to happen was time, occurrences. Time needed to pass and things needed to happen for me to understand the gift. So I had the gift, didn't know how to accurately use it. And this is what witches bank on for you to not know. They bank on the fact that you don't read and listen to the Bible, so you don't know it yourself. And they bank on the fact that since you don't know it for yourself, you're not living in Yahusha's ways, which means you're not going to get the process right. You're not going to do it his way. You're going to wind up screwing it up. Listen to me. Russ Dizdar last conference, I'm the one that picked out the dates for his last conference because I needed to meet with him. And when was the soonest time that Holly Baglio could get to Ohio? I was at a conference in March in Pennsylvania. I picked the dates for the Expelling the Darkness conference. And then at the very end of May, I went to Ohio and I was supposed to meet with Russ, but instead he was rushed to the emergency room. At the end of the conference, I was invited to go back to Sky High. Well, it wound up that I fell into a full-blown severe allergic attack and severe asthma attack. And I was crying to them, call 911. You know, our cell phones are flat screens, so there's no calling 911 if you can't feel the buttons. But I got to practice because this cell phone has an assistant and I can get my assistant to call 911. But nonetheless, so I'm there begging for them to call 911. When I felt the attack come on, I popped 2 Benadryl right off the bat. I actually think I popped 3 Benadryl right off the bat. And it was a good thing because my throat closed up. But because I took that Benadryl, I saved my own life. because the people at Sky High would not call 911. Two of my friends came over and they were like, Holly, if you really got to go. I was like, listen, I've had bad asthma attacks like this. My whole esophagus is thrown up. It's nothing but excruciating pain. I can't swallow. I can't breathe. My face is blown up. My face swelled up so much that my eyes swelled shut. I couldn't see anything. It was bad. And it was also the last asthma attack I've ever had. It was a bad, bad asthma and allergy attack. Anyway, what happens? A witch comes over. Mark, Brandy, take your hands off Holly because I'm going to lay my hands solely on Holly. She puts her, so Brandy and Mark, not knowing, because this is a witch pretending to be a sheep, and she's still doing it too. She has not renounced the initiation she took as a witch. I know because I can see it from here. She's dark and all twisted up. She's got like barbed wire all wrapped around her. So if you touch her, you're getting hurt. But anyway, so this witch comes over, Stephanie, lays her hands on me. And when she laid her hands on me, I literally felt like she reached into my chest, took something out. It felt like a hand reaching in my chest and taking out the asthma attack. It was very awkward and disgusting. So Mark, Brandy, and I were hand in hand praying against the asthma attack. And the Benadryl had started working. I started calming down, but I really needed to go to the hospital because had I gone to the hospital, they would have given me pain pills. And I needed it because I couldn't even swallow my saliva without falling over in excruciating pain. It just hurt. But when that witch did that, she took something out of me, but she also left something behind. Me, Mark, and Brandy didn't know. Looking back, now I know. Now, if you have a group of witches, oh boy, I hope you guys pray to Yahuwah to get discernment. I see a lot of people say they have discernment, but no, they don't. People say a lot, but what they really are and how they really live is always a different story. I can sit here with you for 20 hours and you can see how I live. I'm very transparent, but that's because I want to be his servant. And the only way to serve him is to be transparent with you. So that way you can see exactly what you're going to get. Now, these witches, the right way to do, I don't know what you call it for lack of healing hands, the correct way. Everybody has this gift. You guys have it right now. It's just you don't know how to use it. And witches and warlocks and wizards bank on you not knowing how to use it. Yahuwah says to get rid of principalities with legions, we must pray and fast. Yahuwah sent us out 2 by 2. So you grab your pair, grab the second person, your pair. If there's a third party that wants healing and curing, I would say first and foremost, you and your pair better spend some time praying and fasting first. You need to go before Abba and say, Abba, I want to pray. I pray it be in your will that this person be cured and healed. Now, Abba's either going to say, yes, it is in my will, or no, it's not in my will. If he says, no, it's not in my will, he's going to tell you why. And at that point, you are expected to give that message word for word back to the third party seeking healing and curing. If he says, yes, it is in my will, well, then he's going to say, okay, when you and your pair are done fasting, tomorrow morning, first thing, I want you to go over the house with your pair, lay your hands on this person, and this is what you're going to say in the prayer. If anybody, so you and your pair both lay hands on that third party. If that third party has friends or there's other so-called believers in the vicinity, they're welcome to join. They're welcome to put their hands on the third party. Because again, it's not you or your pair or any one of us doing the healing. It's Yahuwah doing the healing. But Yahuwah works through you and your pair. And if there's 20 people laying hands on the third party, then Yahuwah's working through those 20 people laying hands on the third party. It's not any one person. But I'm going to tell you, say you're stranded on a desert island and it's only you and the third party wanting curing and healing. You still go forward with the prayer because Yahusha is now your pair. When people ask me to do baptisms, I grab Yahusha and I do them by myself. I make sure to leave Bridget home because she's ruined so many baptisms. But more than that, when somebody asks me to do a baptism, they want me to do the baptism. That's why they're asking me. If they wanted Bridge, what's her name? Faith, Grace, what name she go by? Tina. You know, I used to go by Tina. People used to call me Tina. Back in my early 20s, I'd never give my real name. I'd say Tina. But anyway, if you're on a desert island and a third party or the other person wants healing and curing, you grab Yahusha and you and he lay hands on that third party and also that third party. So you, Yahusha, and that third party, that makes 3 people. Just because you're by yourself doesn't mean you're not allowed to go forward. You still go forward. But that prayer and fasting is important because Yahuwah is going to tell you what to say, what to expect, what demons to bind and cast down. And if it's not in Abba's will that this person have healing and curing, he's going to tell you why. He's going to say something like, well, Holly, you know, you're 50, you're going to be 75 pretty soon. And well, Holly, it's appointed to man to die one time, and our bodies grow old and they grow weak. And that's what's happening to your friend. And then what do? I turn to my friend and I say, you know, about 25 years, I'm going to be right there in the same boat as you. And I'll be gloomy. If Yahuwah wants to take you now before the 7-year tribulation, if it's appointed to you, it's appointed to man to die one time. But if your time comes before the 7-year tribulation, you are baruched. You're baruched because you don't have to go through the 7-year tribulation. You are being kept from the time of trial. When you read Revelation at the beginning, you read the 7 letters that went out to the churches. And I think it's the Church of Philadelphia, right? It says something like, you will be kept from the time of trial. Russ Dizdar is kept from the time of trial. My friend Nancy is kept from the time of trial. Do you know how hard that 7-year tribulation is going to be? It's going to be worse than Noah's flood, except it's going to take place for 7 years. Georgia Guidestones say that they're going to kill everybody and go down to a population of 500 million. That's what the elites want to do with this new Nazi world order. It's the Fourth Reich Rising is what it is. They keep saying New World Order. No, it's the Fourth Reich Rising. That's what it is the fourth. Hitler and Joseph Mengele, that was the Third Reich. This is the Fourth Reich. There's something else I was going to say. So, to be kept from the time of trial means the way that it interprets to me, to be kept from the time of trial, it's not a rapture. It's that you'll pass away. Your time for death will happen before you ever see the 7-year tribulation. There's no rapture. There's no escape. And being spared from the time of trial means that you passed on before the 7-year tribulation started. That tribulation is going to be so bad that people's hearts are going to fail them and they're going to die on the spot. So if you're kept from the time of trial, that means you've passed on, you've died before that trial ever happens. the 144,000, it says they're redeemed from the earth. Again, that's not a rapture. And think about it. Redeemed from the earth. When we die, what happens? People get buried. No, they don't. They get cremated. Stop being antagonistic. Bind and cast away that demon. Being redeemed from the earth means that you died, but Yahusha resurrected you just like he resurrected himself, because he's our infinite creator and savior. He's our infinite Elua. He is the most high Elohim. That word Adonai has no business being next to the name of Yahusha, because Adonai is a Greek word, but it's a feminine word. Our creator is a man. I am not using Adonai next to my masculine, infinite creator and savior. So it's a feminine word. But he is the most high Elohim, King of kings, my golden bow. So Yahuwah says that he's going to bring the population down to 144,000. And even then, those 144,000 are redeemed from the earth. That means those 144,000 have already died and resurrected. Yahusha was redeemed from the earth. He resurrected 3 days after his crucifixion. That's what being redeemed from the earth means. It's not a resurrection. I'm sorry, it's not a rapture. And I've heard people go, oh yeah, they're redeemed from the earth, so they're raptured. No, they're resurrected. Those 144,000 seals already died. They already went before Abba. When it says these 144,000 seals follow the Lamb wherever he goes, well, let's think about it. No, the Lamb did not go to Tibet and study under monks. Our infinite creator is not going to go to Tibet and study under monks. He's the infinite creator. He created those monks. He's not going to study under them. Well, he was in heaven. Then he created earth, and he came to earth and was born here. He lived a life. Then he was crucified and he died. He went to hell for 3 days. Then he resurrected here on earth. And then because he's our infinite creator, he ascended to heaven. Well, let's think about it. I remember the time from before I was born on earth. I remember the rebellion in heaven. I remember you people, not all of you people, but I remember the majority of you people flocking to Satan. You would run from Yahusha over to Satan. You know what I would do? I would stand there with Yahusha, and there would be a couple of other beings that would stay with me to stay with him. But everybody else was always flocking to Satan because he was the most beautiful angel. So I remember the time from before I was born on earth. Shh, I know what all the hush is about. You guys don't, because if you did, then it would take away your ability to have free will. So I remember heaven from before I was born on earth. Next thing you know, I'm born on earth and I'm told to chase a lamb. I died March 2007, and when I died, I landed in hell. Then Yahusha came to hell and literally carried me out. Then he pushed me back up in this world, put two breaths of air in my nostrils, got my heart pumping again, and he said, marry me. And he resurrected me, and I've been alive ever since March 2007. And he resurrected me. If he didn't resurrect me, I would still be in hell right now. I know he resurrected me. It's a very big part of my testimony, but also the Holy Bible is all about his resurrection. And you and I, there's two resurrections. The first resurrection is solely reserved for the people who do not take the mark of the beast and get their heads chopped off. The second resurrection happens at the end of his 1,000 years of reign. After the second battle happens, there will be a second resurrection with everyone and everything that comes back alive. From there, we go right off to Judgment Day. After Judgment Day, we get the New Jerusalem. And the New Jerusalem is not the church. The church has fallen. So, yeah, I mean, Revelation happens exactly the way the Bible reads. It's so easy. Go get New International Version and read Revelation. You get a direct blessing from Heavenly Abba when you do. And if you keep rereading it, it will click. It talks about what's going to happen in the spirit first and how it manifests on earth. Revelation is a really easy book. But if you're going to go listen to Churchianity and these scholars and theologians, if you're going to go and listen to anybody, then they're going to make Revelation confusing to you. Go read it for yourself with Yahusha. You'll understand it. But everything is going to play out exactly the way Revelation says it. The 7 trumpets are not the 7 bowls, and they're not the 7. You have 7 bowls, 7 trumpets, and 7 seals. They are 3 different things. Oh, Holly, well, the bowls are just rewording the 7 trumpets. And the 7 trumpets, that's just a different way to explain the 7 seals. No. The truth is it's 21 separate and distinct events. 7 seals open, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 7 trumpets sound, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 7 balls of wrath pour out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then at the end, Yahushua returns. He does not return at the beginning or in the middle. He returns after the tribulation. There is no secret and third visitation from Yahushua. The rapture is not true. If you guys really relied on Yahuwah, if you were listening to the right voice, then you would not be believing in a rapture. And I've got tons and tons and scores of friends who believe in a rapture. And I can see clearly that they're listening to the wrong voice. And I'm not going to sit there and argue or anything like that. That's on them. They're listening to the wrong voice. I've given them the information. They don't test the spirits. They don't get confirmations back. And to get rid of something like Jehovah, you have to fast. And if you're putting fasting a part of your daily routine, then you're abusing fasting and you're not using it properly. And it's as simple as that. See a lot of people getting mixed up with pride and ego. Jesus attacks me every time there is an eclipse. That's not my savior. If you guys want to follow that, you go right ahead. I'm not going to judge you. I will have discernment and keep away from you. It'll be harder for me to help you with spiritual warfare because Satan already got you. You're already believing in what he's telling you. And Satan can't cast out Satan. You're believing in the rapture. Satan gave you that. He's just dressed up as this other entity called Jehovah or Jesus, saying that he's your savior. But he's not. Jesus, Jehovah, Sourceyeshua. They all came in their own name, and everybody flocks to them. But Yahusha comes in Yahuwah's name, and they accept him not. Oh, well, I just always called him Jesus. Yeah. And you have a spirit of rebellion. You do not have a spirit of humbleness. You do not have a spirit of repentance. You are a kid of Moloch. You're a Moloch kid. Yahusha's children don't act like that. When Yahusha's children found out that his name was Yahusha, we started calling him that. We didn't put up a fit. We didn't kick and scream. We didn't act like spoiled little brats who were denied a candy bar. We said, we repent. We're going to start calling you by your correct name. And it's not Jesus. It's not JEHOVAH. I cannot cast out demons in JESUS. All the demons do is like just switch positions. Instead of affecting this area of someone's life, they run around and start attacking another area. When people go, oh, but I cast away demons in JESUS's name, and I know his name's Yahusha, but those demons just leave, Holly. No, they don't. No, they don't. All they do is switch positions and go start ripping apart another area of your life. If you can't understand why a demonic attack is not ending, go to Yahuwah. But you're going to have to renounce the false doctrine. You want to believe in false prophecy like the rapture? You're letting a demon in because it's a demon that gave you that lie. Yahusha's the truth. Yahusha doesn't lie. Yahusha does not lie like these other entities. Yahusha told me there's no rapture, and he would tell you the same thing if you were relying on him. Now, I don't know what entity you are relying on, but if you want to make sure it's him, well, then fast. Fast for 3 weeks. Not one meal, not a day, not 1 week. You have to test the spirits and repent. You need to spend time with him. And then you'll know. Oh, Holly, nobody can really know until he's here. He is here. Yahuwah is here. He's with us invisible. He still talks. So yes, I do know for certain. I know for certain my husband. To most of you, he's just your savior. To me, he's my husband. He's my everything. And I'm married to him. And a wife knows her husband. All right, guys, on that note, I like this no chat room thing. I have to rerun my video from yesterday, my 1-minute video about how do you know? No one could possibly know. How do you know? You spend time with them, you get to know them, and then you know. But if you don't do that, you're not going to know. I know from firsthand experience. And on that note, I got to go. I have an appointment I'm running late for, and that's why my buzzer keeps sounding, because I really got to go. I'll talk to you guys soon. Yahusha Baruch us.